Hello, welcome back to 10 at 10. My name is Michael Ramage. I'm the director of the Cyber Education Research Center here at Murray State University, and welcome back to 10 at 10. 10 at 10 is brought to you through a partnership between Murray State University, Sprocket, West Kentucky, and KY Innovation. Welcome back, episode 266, even number episode. So we are looking at the news of the last few days and weeks and seeing if there's anything that we can learn to keep ourselves a little safer and keep our businesses, our organizations, and even our families a little safer in cyberspace. So, with that in mind, I want to dig into a few stories. This first one I find really interesting because I have had a lot of people that have come up to me this week and asked me about this. So, there was a Super Bowl commercial and a lot of chatter on the new tool that Amazon Ring cameras have about pet tracking. And if somebody in your neighborhood's lost a pet, we can utilize the Ring cameras in the neighborhood to help find that lost pet. A couple things that I'll note about it, and if you want to learn more about it, CNET actually did a really nice job on this, and you can look at this article. It'll be linked in the notes. You can take a look at it and kind of see what they're talking about. But short version of this is you have to opt into this service. And if you opt into it, then it can essentially look through, AI wise, look through some of the video that your Ring cameras externally would create. But here's the catch to what is happening on some of this. First of all, even with the abduction or disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mother, all of these elements are looking at these cameras a little bit. And what short version of all these things from a cybersecurity standpoint, from a privacy standpoint, is who owns the video? That's really the question. Who owns the video? Whose data is it? And what I mean by that is that if you have a camera and you're only looking at the camera, it's not saved in the Ring cloud, it's not saved in the Amazon cloud, it's just on your camera, and after it is displayed, it goes away. Okay, that's one thing. But if you are saving, I think Ring by default saves like a month worth of video when it detects activity and all that. Who owns that? There have been court cases going back a few years where the law enforcement folks were able to get access to those to that footage without permission of the owner, or at least where the footage originated, because it's in Amazon's cloud. Ring is owned by Amazon now, and it's in that cloud. So I don't know the right answer right now. I don't know the specifics of this situation or of the camera that you have at home, but I would tell you is if you're worried about privacy, then make sure you know whose camera, who owns the footage on your camera. What I would also say is if you have cameras on the inside of your home where they could take pictures of someone in a compromised position, then you better be careful, and you might think about that twice. So anyway, so that's the first one. Second one, and I'll be short with this because I'm going to run out of time talking about the different stories today. Ransomware groups, the title of this, and comes from Security Week. Ransomware groups may pivot back to encryption as data theft tactics falter. I don't want to get into the tactics necessarily of these ransomware groups. The idea of a ransomware group, of ransomware in general, is that they're going to hold your data ransom. You pay, you get it back. First of all, there's a big assumption that you do get it back. It's not always true. But let's assume that you do get it back and they leave you alone. They want to force you to pay. So if you're not paying by holding data ransom, then they have to steal the data. So what has happened over time is that they've stolen the data. Now the problem is that now that they've stolen data, they're no the ROI is no longer there for extorting the data. So now um, they're looking at going back and encrypting data as well. It it really the main point for me in this story is that ransomware groups, as we have talked about over the last few years, continue to change the product that they're selling. As stupid as and as strange as it sounds, ransomware groups are criminals that are selling a product. They are going to continue to sell that product. And just like any business organization, they're going to continue to modify and adapt their product to make sure that it is doing what they want it to do, and that they're selling the product that they intend to sell and make as much money as possible. Hence, the ROI is not what it once was, so they may show something else. Next story, another one that we've talked about before, and I just kind of want to highlight it. A new report. It's called Voice of Cybersecurity Strategist Report. Continues to share what we have been talking about. AI enabled threats is a top concern, and it's one that is continuing to happen. AWS had an intruder that was able to get into their AWS admin access in under 10 minutes, thanks to an AI assist. That's a concern. That is an absolute concern, and we're going to continue to see some of those types of things. AI enhanced threat detection and response is ranked as the most critical security capability. So not only are the bad guys using it and the threats are a concern, but the good guys are using it, and it actually can enable us, the good guys, to respond faster as well. So certainly keep that in mind. All right, this next one, I think this is really interesting, and this isn't a political statement by any stretch, but Starlink updates its privacy policy to allow them to use consumer data to help train their AI tools. So what does that mean? I have not read the specifics of their policy. I'm not a Starlink customer, but what I do want you to be aware of is that, yes, Starlink updates their privacy policy. Your broadband provider, your cell phone provider, Google, Microsoft, all of these large tech companies have a massive data privacy policy where you're giving away a lot of your data. Amazon with Ring, we just talked about it. All of these have really complicated privacy policies, and they are certainly using stuff to your data, your information, to train their tools. Now, what I'll say about that is, on one hand, they don't really care about me and you. They really don't. They care about making money, and if they can use our data in the abstract, in the collective, to train, then that's what they want. That's what they need. That's what they're going for. They don't necessarily care about Michael Ramage's information. They care about all of our information together that can allow their whatever AI tool they're training to be better, to be more efficient. That's what they're going after. So as we think about these pieces, keep in mind that, Elon Musk doesn't really care about me individually, but they're starting to use our data to train their AI model. I can guarantee, while I haven't read it, and I haven't seen the article similar to this, but that Microsoft's doing it, Amazon's doing it, Google's doing it. We are consumers, and if we are receiving something, especially if we're receiving something free from a tech provider, you better believe they're getting something in return. And that might be our data to help train their model. So just be aware, be alert, always keep your data privacy in mind, keep your personal privacy in mind, because we are certainly being utilized. And I'm not saying don't use these services. I'm a user of these services, but we have to go into it with the mindset and the understanding that some of these tools have a cost. Next week we'll dig into that a little bit about some of the things that we can do as an organization to reduce the risk from AI standpoint. So anyway, if you have questions on anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. Let me know, and I will see you back next week on 10 at 10. Thank you. Bye.